Hello everyone, welcome to today's session. Today we will be talking about Salesforce Objects and Fields. And anybody who is not having a Trailhead account or a dev org, I'll just pin the links for both in the description below, and you can take a look from there and create your own Trailhead accounts as well as dev orgs. So in today's session, we'll be talking about Salesforce Objects and Fields. Let's start with the agenda of this session. We'll be covering basic overview of objects fields. Then we'll be diving deeper into types of objects in Salesforce, standard object, custom objects, and a couple of others. And then we'll be talking about Salesforce standard and custom fields. And we'll also have a live session wherein we'll discuss how to create an object and field. Starting with a basic overview. So a lot of people, have question what is field, what is object, and what is record in Salesforce. So I usually compare it to SQL, where in SQL you have a table. Similarly in Salesforce we have objects, and then you have columns of the table. Similar to that in Salesforce we have fields, and the data which we input is records, right? So those of you who are not aware of SQL, you can compare it to a simple Excel spreadsheet, wherein a spreadsheet is an object and the columns are fields, and the data which we input are records. So that is like very basic overview. Talking about types of objects in Salesforce. So Salesforce has four types of objects: standard objects, custom objects, external objects, and big objects. Today we'll be talking more about standard and custom objects. So what are standard objects, right? So standard objects are some objects which are provided by Salesforce by default. And just to give you an example, right, there are accounts, contacts, leads, opportunities. So Salesforce has various clouds. When we talk, we can talk about that in our next sessions and next series to come. But for now, you can think about it like, for example, Sales Cloud is one of the clouds by Salesforce, and it has a few standard objects like leads, opportunities, which are really required and most important for the sales process of any organization. So that is where standard objects come in place. You can definitely create more fields into standard objects, but yeah, those are standard provided by Salesforce. And what are custom objects? So similar to standard objects, what you can do is you can create your own object basis the business logic required by the customer. So you can create whatever custom object you want. That is called a custom object, and that has a underscore c as a convention of a custom object. Talking about Salesforce fields. So again, there are two types of fields: standard fields and custom fields in Salesforce. So standard objects have some standard fields provided by Salesforce. Just to give you an example, it is like contacts, right? So contacts have some standard features. So contact is basically a person, right? So in contacts, we store the data of a person. So what can be the standard details you would require? So it is salutation, first name, last name, phone, mobile, email, right? All these kind of things. These are all provided by Salesforce. So those are called standard fields. Again, you can go ahead and create any custom field you want for your data storage. So those will be considered as a custom field. Now we will be also, I'll just give you a demo of how it works, how to create an object, how to create a field, and a tab, and couple of other things. So I'll get on to the demo now. So I've logged into my Salesforce dev org, and this is the home page. Let us talk about the standard objects first. So you can see, right, account is there, contact is there. All these are standard objects. So I'll just maybe show you account. Right. So this is one of the standard accounts which we can create, and this is the record. So basically, if you click on new, you can go ahead and create a record of a standard object. But ignore this. This is I've done a lot of things there since it's my play around work. Okay, so now I'll start with how to create a custom object. To create a custom object, go to this gear icon on top, right? In case you are in Lightning. If you're not in Lightning, then if you're in Classic, you'll see a small. Let me show you rather. So yeah, if you're in Classic, right, you'll see switch to Lightning experience. You can hit this, and you'll be back to the Lightning version, and then ignore these errors. I am doing a lot of stuff here. So yeah, it's setup. The setup screen shall open. Then click on Object Manager. So basically, Object Manager is a place where all the objects are there, standard and custom both. So you can see, right, it shows you type of objects. So like A/B test is one of the custom objects I created. And then we have standard objects as well. If you want to see any object, you can just click here and dive deeper. And okay, if you want to create an object, you can go to create, click on create custom object. and this kind of a page will open. You can give the name of the object. I'll create, say, subject, right? And as soon as you hit outside, it will automatically populate the object name. So why are there two things? One is label, one is name. So label is to be used by the end user, and it is visible to the end user. And an object name is basically a API name, which is used in backend automations and processes and Apex and other stuff. And this API name has to be unique. So and there's this something called as plural label. So in case there are multiple subjects, so I'll put as subjects, and then if it starts with a vowel, you can check this to true. Coming to the record name. So whenever you create a custom object, there's a name field which is auto created. This is a standard field, and then you can select the data type, or it can be text or auto number based on whatever you want. I'll keep it text for now. Then we have optional features. What are these optional features? Start with allow reports. So any object you create, right? First you create an object, then you create fields on that object, and then you create records to store that information. So in Salesforce, reports are used to retrieve information from objects, and you can also add filters and criterias, and so that you get the exact report. This is very useful feature for all the business users because they want to see your data in certain format. So that is where reports are used. So you can check this box in case you need it. Then you have allow activities. Allow activities are in Salesforce. Activities are like tasks. Then you have log a call and email, etc. But we'll dive deeper into it in our later sessions. For now, you can understand it is more of assigning a task to a particular record of this object. And if you want to do so, you can check this box. Then you have track field history. So in Salesforce, what functionality it offers is that it gives you ability to track field history, wherein you can see, okay, this field. So for example, there's a field called status, right? And status field was changed by Sanjeet from new to negotiating, right? And if you have the track field history enabled for that field, in that case, you can see that this field has been changed and by whom it has changed and when it was changed. So that gives you a crisp view of the data is flowing and who is changing the records, and you can have you can probably see if it is by mistake, or you can reach out to the folk who has changed it and understand the reasons for that. We can ignore the charter group for now. Then talking about object classifications. So this is related to sharing and bulk APIs, streaming APIs, and talk about this later, not required for now. Deployment status. So deployment status will be deployed as it won't allow you to use it. In development is like if you are not sure you want it under use, and you can probably use in development. And once you are comfortable and you think all the features have been added and all the checkboxes have been checked, unchecked basis the requirements, that you can mark to deploy it. Then allow search. So this is a very important feature. When the setting is enabled, users can find the records and objects when they search on the global search, right? So this is really important. Now talking about object creation options, have two options here. One is add notes and attachments related to related list or default page layout. This means that Salesforce give you an option to add notes and attachments wherein you can go to any of the records of this particular object and add some attachment files, PDFs, documents, and stuff like that. So I'll just give you an example of this. So for example, on quote, right, we sometimes tend to add some documents, or on lead, we tend to add documents for the end customer. Say, for example, you want some bank details or something. We're talking about financial services sector here. So those you can add. So I'll just check this box for now. Then launch new tab wizard after saving this. Means that every object has a tab. So in case you want to create a tab, this is required if you want to input manually. So this must be checked, and I'll hit save now. Yeah, so now the object is created. It is asking you to create a tab. So it is asking you to tab style. You can click on search and you will see a lot of options. You can select whatever you like here, and then you can hit next. So this is basically, so in Salesforce, we have multiple profiles. So you can provide access levels to profiles. If you want to provide same access level to all the profiles, you can select. There are 3 access levels. One is default on, that means it will be visible. Then default off is default will be off. And then tab hidden will be hidden from that particular profile. So you can go ahead, select the options in case you want differently, selecting this checkbox, but for now I'll keep it default on. Let's hit next. Yeah, again, this is similar to the profiles, right? We have custom apps in Salesforce. if you go here, right, and you search for sales, you have sales, then you have service, and different tabs. So you can check these boxes wherever you want the tab to be included. So I've select all, and I will move to save. Great. So our object is created, right? And let's talk about fields now. So you can dive here and click on fields and relationships. You can go to the field section. To create a new field, you can click on this new. Before that, let me show you all these fields there. So we just created this object, but there are still around 5 fields which are auto created. So created by ID is a standard field for all objects. Then we have last modified ID. This is also a standard field for objects. Then we have owner ID. Then we have a name. Let me see. This currency was created. Okay. I'll just dive into this to see why this was created probably. But yeah, we can create our templates, the numbers for all the records being created. Then we have formulas. We'll discuss this later. There are two types of relationship. One is lookup relationship and one is master detail. So for example, you say, okay, a subject can exist with a course. So you want to tag a course to a subject. In that case, you can use a lookup relationship. And if you say, okay, a subject cannot exist without a course, in that case, you can select master detail relationship. But we'll have a separate session for discussing lookup relationships and master detail relationships here. So let's move on to checkboxes, currency, date, time. All these are very generic. You can go through it, and in case you have any issues, you can reach out to me on my LinkedIn or Twitter handles. I'll create a text area for now. Let's create a description field, description of that subject, right? So I'll add the field name. Sorry, the field label. So again, similar to the objects, we have field label and field name here. So label is something that is visible to the end user, and field is something. Field name is something which is being used by backend. This has to be unique. Again, don't forget to enter a description. This is a field used for tracking subject description. And then we have help text. So description is basically used by the backend guys, the developers and the admins who are creating the fields, right? And help text is being used by the end user if they want to understand, okay, why this field is for. So that is the reason we can add it. I'll just show you, right? Okay. So then this is this required checkbox. So if you want a field to be always required while creation or edit whenever, right? So this checkbox can be checked. So let me check it for now. And then you can also give some default values in case you want. So if you want a description to be predefined with some default value, I know this does not hold true for description, but for say currency, right, you can have default value as 0 sometimes and things like that. So you can use also a formula editor, and here you can add some formulas in case you want, but for now it is not required for us. Okay, then this is again the field level security. We'll talk about it deeper into the security module. And then every object has layouts, which is so as of now it is our object has only one layout because that is the default one, and we'll allow this field to be added on that layout. Let me hit save. There you go. So we have created this description. And let me go to the tab now. Let me reload once. Yeah, there you go. So subjects tab is created. And you see that there are no records because we just created it. So to create a new record, you can hit new. And guys, if you have noticed, this is a plane icon, aeroplane icon, which we had selected, right, in the tab style. So you can enter the name. I'll say maybe maths, and then you can add this is test description. There you go. Let me hit save. And the record is created. So this is how the objects are created, fields are created. You can add as many fields as you want, and so you can see the standard fields created by and last modified by. These are the ones which are standard, and this name is also standard, and the owner is standard. So if you have multiple users, then it helps you identify who has created it and who has modified it. Thanks for your time, guys. Hope to see you in the next session.